Hello students, my name is Ayla Kugona and I'm your facilitator for this course LIS 310, Records Management and Archives Administration. I hope you enjoyed the last class, so I would like to welcome you back to another class. Welcome back. My name is Ailaku Uguna Vivian and I'm your facilitator for this course LIS 310, Records Management and Archives Administration. So for today's topic, we are going to discuss the concept of archives. So at the end of this class, you should be able to define archives, identify the importance of archives, identify the difference between the libraries and the archives, and you also understand how you can access the materials in the archives. So, what is an archive? Can you be able to explain the meaning of archive? I know whenever you hear what is an archive, you come across this question. Your response would be that archive is anything that is old, or archive is something that is outdated, something that is antique or ancient, or something that is very obsolete. Yes, if you have used any of these words in describing an archive, you are 100% right. The word archive is quite hard to explain as it is used in various ways depending on the context. If you define archive as a building or a collection of items or papers or records, you are also right. An archive can also be referred to as a place, that is the building or part of the building where the archival materials are stored, preserved, kept or deposited. Archive as a place is also known as a repository for archival materials. Archive can be defined as an agency. What do you mean by agency? That is the institution that is responsible for the identification, the preservation, and easy accessibility to the records of enduring value. Because any document or any record or manuscript that is kept in archive is regarded to have an enduring value. Now let's look at the difference between archives and libraries. Both of them are custodians of records, custodians of books, custodians of information. They have so many information sources being stored in their premises. Every university library should have an archive section, and a good example is the Las-Oti Library in the Babcock University. In their library at the Las-Oti Library, they have an archive situated as a department within the library. Public libraries, which are commonly found in the cities, and academic libraries, which are housed in the institution of a higher education, that is the universities. Libraries can generally be defined as collection of books or other print or non-print materials organized and maintained for use. The library users can have access to the needed information or materials at the library through the library network, via online or by physically visiting the library. The archives differs from the libraries in the materials they hold. The libraries collect materials which are disseminated, shared to inform, to educate and entertain a general audience. In contrast, archival materials result from the activities they record and are saved for future purposes, both by the creator and by the later researchers. So the difference starts from the purpose for which the documents are created. So how can the materials in the archives be accessed? The materials in the archives are basically kept there for research purposes, and the archives have specific rules, guidelines on how the researchers or the people intending to use the collection in the archives can make use of their collections. And this is in order to protect the materials from physical damage or theft. Remember, the materials in the archives tend to have lasting value or enduring value. So keeping them and their content accessible for posterity is very important. While in the library, due to the charging and discharging of the library books, this causes the books to get worn out or get mutilated. And when this occurs, the library either retrieves the mutilated book or worn out books and replaces it with a new copy that has been in the library store, or may end up purchasing a new copy from the market at more expensive rates depending at the time. In the archives, it is not possible to check out a handwritten diary of a historic figure, a historic person, because this art could cause the same physical deterioration, mutilation, and in this case there is no form of replacing that diary because it's only one that is being available or being kept in the archive because of its enduring value. So in the archives, to be able to access the documents or the materials in their custody, you must first submit your request, provide a means of identification, view the material, return the material to the information desk, submit your request. What do we mean by that? Once you have identified the material or collection or manuscript you want to view, you submit a retrieval request to the archival staff. And this could be done in a few ways, such as by emailing your request to the archival institution, or calling the reference desk, or filling out a request form at the archival institution. The second one, you provide a means of identification. This after you must have submitted your retrieval request that you need to have access to this particular manuscript or record in the archive. The archival staff will now retrieve the material you requested for and bring it to you. While viewing the material, you will be required to submit your means of identification at the reference desk. Then you return the material. When you are done using the material you requested for, you are expected to return it back to the reference desk. The archival staff will return your identification card that you had submitted to them earlier on, and then return the archival material back in the archive for safe storing. Importance of archives. Let me ask you, do you think the archives have any form of importance? Definitely they do. The importance of archives includes the evidence they provide to us, our activities. Archives convey stories. They tell us about important figures, people, institutions, the world. They also deepen our understanding of our cultures, our traditions, our indigenous knowledge, and nurture our sense of identity. So archives are very important for records and information management in our daily lives and also in our organizational activities. We all produce data, we produce reports, we produce information, documents. All these needs to be meticulously managed and monitored in order for them to be utilized properly. And what are other importance of archives? Archives helps us to store our outdated and unused documents off-site, thereby creating more space in our office. The records in the archives have everlasting value. They may have physical value, they may have legal value, administrative or historical value, and this needs to be kept in a secured location for future purposes with no chance of unauthorized use. An archive also provides a safe place for documents that are stored and preserved there. Should there be cases of flood, fire damaging the records, these records, while they are archived, the damages would be limited. Archived documents are easily retrieved because of the good filing system it has. That's a very important use of archive. Then archiving documents also saves money for individuals, organizations, and at the same time make history for them. It helps organizations to maintain a good legal compliance with the government by maintaining all patent records. So we could now see that the archives, that they are not non-current records of an organization or the personal papers of one or more than one individuals, families, or groups. They are retained for their continuing value to be preserved for posterity, usually in a repository managed and maintained by trained personnel. So, in this lesson, we have learned to define archive, identify the importance of archives, the differences between the libraries and the archives. We also understand how you can access the materials in the archives. But I'll still ask you to still go back to your course material and read further and research more on the concept of archives. For now, is bye bye and take care.